Over 30 years since Return of the Jedi, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill are back with a new young cast to take us to a galaxy far, far away. I'm Jan and this is 15 things you probably didn't know about Star Wars The Force Awakens. The design of Kylo Ren's lightsaber was partly inspired by a dinner party conversation between director J.J. Abrams and his friend Jonathan Ive, who just happens to be Apple's chief design officer. Ive suggested the new lightsaber should be less precise, more uneven or spitty as he put it, and added that making it more analog and more primitive would give it a more ominous feel. Captain Phasma's shiny armoured costume was originally actually pitched as a costume for Kylo Ren. For story reasons, J.J. Abrams decided it wouldn't work for that character, but liked the design so much that he decided it was perfect for Captain Phasma. In fact, that silvery chrome-like design reminded Abrams of a 1979 horror film in which the villain attacks his victims with a silver sphere. The name of that film was Phantasm, which provided the inspiration for the name of Captain Phasma. Oh, and by the way, according to screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan, Captain Phasma was originally going to be a male character, but the role's gender was later swapped and Gwendolyn Christie was cast. The hard, white, plasticky look of stormtroopers made costume designer Michael Kaplan think of his iPhone, which gave him the idea for the sleek look of the stormtrooper costumes in The Force Awakens. The new stormtrooper costumes are also tougher and more flexible than the original vacuum-formed suits, as they were cast in a thicker polyurethane plastic. Oscar Isaac's character Poe Dameron was partly named after J.J. Abrams' assistant at Bad Robot, Morgan Dameron. However, Abrams can't quite remember the origins of the character's first name, but thinks he may have subconsciously named it after his daughter's toy polar bear, which is called Poe. As for the name BB-8, according to Abrams, both the letter B and the number 8 were just sort of how the droid looked to him, and he simply liked the onomatopoeic sound of the name. Before going on set to ready herself to play Rey, Daisy Ridley would listen in her trailer to I'll Make a Man Out of You from Disney's 1998 animated feature Mulan. And that wasn't Ridley's only musical experience while filming The Force Awakens. The young actress, who specialised in musical theatre at Tring Park School for the Performing Arts, says she couldn't stop singing on set, to the point that J.J. Abrams actually bet her that she couldn't make it a whole day without bursting into song. When he auditioned for the role of Finn in The Force Awakens, John Boyega watched Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford's original Star Wars auditions on YouTube and drew inspiration from their approach to the material. Boyega's favourite character in all the Star Wars movies is Han Solo because he relates to Solo's attitude of just trying to make some money and get by. Carrie Fisher was not only told to lose weight to play Princess Leia in the very first Star Wars movie despite only weighing 105 pounds at the time, but says she also had to lose over 35 pounds for The Force Awakens. Co-star Mark Hamill also shed around 50 pounds to return to the world of Star Wars. J.J. Abrams brought Oscar-winning special effects artist and animatronics whiz Neil Scanlon out of retirement to bring to life the creatures of The Force Awakens. Scanlon's team designed over 100 creatures, using a mix of prosthetics and animatronics, while some creatures even had 5 or 6 people inside operating them. The emphasis was on recreating the practical feel of the creatures from the original trilogy, while making the best use of technological advances like 3D printing and small elements of CGI to enhance the final look. As R2-D2 is such a fan favourite, it seems fitting that the Force Awakens version of everyone's favourite blue and white droid was actually built by 2 Star Wars Uber fans. At the 2013 Star Wars celebration in Germany, producer Kathleen Kennedy was so impressed by the fully functioning R2-D2 replica made by Lee Towersey and Oliver Steeples, who are British members of the R2 Builders Club, that she recommended them to work on the movie. The new R2-D2 the pair built for the film is made of fiberglass and aluminium. So you may know that the Millennium Falcon's circular sensor dish was replaced with a rectangular one for The Force Awakens, as the original was lost when Lando Calrissian flew the ship in Return of the Jedi. But the production designers also accommodated a special request from Harrison Ford that the dashboard switches on the new Falcon have proper springs so they'd stay in place when they were flipped. As a keen amateur pilot, Ford was irritated that the original Falcon's switches didn't do that. Composer John Williams, who scored the original Star Wars trilogy and the prequels, has likened writing music for The Force Awakens to adding paragraphs to a letter that's been going on for a number of years. However, Williams did not consult his scores for the previous films before starting work on his 7th Star Wars movie, because, as he says, it's a bit like riding a bike that you haven't been on since you were 10 years old. You do remember. After J.J. Abrams bumped into composer Lin-Manuel Miranda at a performance of Miranda's hugely successful Broadway musical Hamilton, Abrams asked him to compose music for a cantina-style scene in The Force Awakens. However, Miranda didn't actually get to see the scene he was scoring. Abrams just sent him the temporary music they'd been using, and Miranda took it from there, exchanging music files with Abrams over email until the pair had completed the co-written piece. Although a huge fan of the original Star Wars trilogy, J.J. Abrams very nearly turned down the opportunity to direct The Force Awakens, as when producer Kathleen Kennedy first approached him, he was still busy on post-production for Star Trek Into Darkness and didn't want to take on another huge franchise, especially as he had plans for a 6-month family vacation. But when Kennedy told him he'd have a blank canvas for the film, Abrams felt the chance to explore what had happened to Han, Leia and Luke since we last saw them was just too great to pass up. Now, who are your favourite characters in Star Wars The Force Awakens and why? And which is your favourite Star Wars movie? Let me know in the comments below. I've got more Star Wars videos on the way, including a movie review and an Easter egg video, and I'll add the annotations here when they're live. If you'd like to see more videos like this, do please subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!